Good morning. I'm Mark Ilinga, one of the pastors at Twin Lakes Church, and just here with your morning Devo. Hey, I was at a wedding recently, just last weekend actually, and what a great party. It was so much fun. And it just kind of brought to mind the party for the prodigal son that Renee preached on a couple weeks ago. And instead of kind of looking at everything we looked at that weekend, what about the perspective of the brother, the older brother, that's seeing his younger brother who just squandered everything coming back, the father's response to him of love and compassion, of mercy, and the brother was angry about it. You know, how is that part of what we should be looking at as far as our attitudes towards others that have sinned, towards injustice, towards those especially that maybe have sinned against us, real or perceived? What's our attitude? And Jonah had the same problem. And so I'm going to read from that in Jonah 4. We showed you the story, or talked about the story of Jonah a week before the prodigal son. And just the whole story going up, but his response in chapter 4 is interesting. And that's what I'd like us to consider here this morning. It says in chapter 4, verse 1, but it greatly displeased Jonah, and he became angry. He became angry about God was going to let the Ninevites, the people of Nineveh, off the hook for all of they were incredible evil society. At the time. All kinds of things were going on that were just evil in God's sight, evil in humanity's sight. And Jonah was greatly displeased that God was maybe going to let them off the hook. And so he became angry. And then he prayed to the Lord and said, "Please, Lord, was this not what I said when I was still in my own country? Therefore, in anticipation of this, of you letting the Nineveh people having an out from the calamity that you have actually were calling upon them. Please, Lord, was it not what I said when I left my own country? Therefore, in anticipation of this, I fled to Tarshish, since I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abundant in mercy, and one who relents of disaster. So now, Lord, please take my life from me, for death is better to me than life." But the Lord said back to Jonah, "Do you have a good reason to be angry?" And that's my question for us this morning. Do we have a good reason to be angry to that brother or sister that has sinned against us? To our kids that we are estranged from some dumb reason? And we're refusing to reach back out again and again and again. To that father that left us. To that person that is struggling with alcoholism or addictions that we've helped 100 times and we can't help again. We still need to have an attitude of mercy, of compassion, of graciousness, even if we have to have boundaries around what that relationship looks like. Something to think about. Ask yourself, God's talking to you this morning. Do you have a good reason to be angry about some situation in your life? I'm sure you have one. All right. Pray and meditate on that here today. Great to be with you.